Everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be discussing Apex Legends. Is it bad for casuals? I have Dre here with me, so go to give a hello, shout out Dre.
What's going on, guys? It is Mr. Swords Dre here, otherwise known as Dre Nilla. If you don't know me, I'm known as the sus guy on Twitter, right? Or the booty president, or the ass shaker, or whatever you want to, know me by, or my moniker or anything like that. But yeah, we're here with Daz today, and we're gonna be talking about, is casual dead in Apex Legends? Is there room for casuals? Is there any type of casual scene within Apex Legends anymore? We're gonna discuss it today.
This is a big topic, especially that's been on top of Dre Nilla's mind. And let's go over some of the topics here. We're going to cover briefly skill-based matchmaking. We're going to discuss afterwards creators struggle for content, what is new and fresh. We're going to discuss outstanding bugs and frustrations, the mental health of the player base as a whole, then direction of the game as it ages. So how it feels very competitive. So I'm going to pass the reins over to Dre Nilla, and we're going to talk about this first one, which is a very easy one we're going to discuss briefly because we talked about it on the channel, is skill-based matchmaking. Dre, I really want your thoughts on this.
It's right now in season 18, I don't know, they did something with it, bro. Like it is cranked to the max. If you're a solo player and you're remotely good in any way, let's say you have like an above 2 KD, it is putting you against probably the sweatiest people that play Apex at that time. You're going against 3 stacks. You're going against the kids who don't want to play ranked, right? But they want to play pubs with their friends. They want to 3 stack it up and stuff like that. And there's no problem with playing with your friends, right? But just if I'm a solo, pair me with other solos, right? I don't want to go against the howl of pubs. I don't want to go against the sweet creams of pubs. I don't want to go against these crazy crack players in pubs when I simply just want to have fun and have a good time, possibly record some content, get a video, stuff like that. But then people on the other side, they'll be like, oh well, you just want to beat up on bots, you just want to you want to beat up on less skillful players. That's not true at all. I just simply want to have a good time, bro. I want to feel like I have a chance, because half the time I feel like I don't even have a chance when I'm in these lobbies. Like everybody is trying their hardest, they're sweating it up, bro. There's not even any type of room for, I guess, an enjoyment, unless you enjoy that competitive aspect of it, right? Then it's completely fine. But for someone like myself, and I know a lot of people out there, we just want to have a good time, right? We just want to have fun. We just want to be able to kind of kick back, right? Shoot some shit, have a good time. You can't even do that right now with SBMM, bro. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's really rough. And I have to back that up. We have a full video in the description down below to check out Forby and Lumi's experience as well with that. But I really wanted to get Dre, because we can't have this conversation and not talk about skill-based matchmaking, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. And since that last video, it hasn't gotten better, but it leads to a lot of other discussions, especially for everybody who's a casual. And Dre Nilla, when we're talking about this while we're making this video, really believes we can hit a really sweet spot when it comes to what you guys want as an audience. So that segues us to our next conversation, that creators are struggling for content, and the struggles of what it means to make something new, innovative, make it feel fresh outside of what the sweating all the time, trying to nonstop improve and just feeling like it never ends. So Dre, I pass this off to you. What are your thoughts on this? This is a big one for you, right?
Yeah, I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute, and I've kind of been feeling this way for a while now too. Within like the core of Apex, right, the heart of the game, it is a competitive battle royale, and people who want that competitive drive, who want to be able to kind of improve every single day, and who want to be able to kind of, let's say, prove themselves, right, to other people, not only to themselves but to other people and the community, that they are, they can hang, and they are good at the game, and they are skillful and stuff like that. But where does that leave all the other content creators and streamers and stuff like that who don't want to do that, and who just simply want to have a good time, like we were saying earlier, and just want to provide some great content to their community that isn't that skillful type of gaming, or that type of high skill level ceiling that you would see most of the time within Apex, right? Because the content in Apex is simply just being good, right? At the end of the day, like, people love it, the whole game of Apex, but there's no room for anything outside of that. Like, I feel like everything has almost been done already within the casual or the content scene, like you can do Trident races and customs, you can do this, you can do that, you could do like Simon Says, you could do hide and seek, but like I said, I feel like all of it's already kind of been done, and it's hard to come up with something new, and it's hard to come up with something fresh and innovative when they're not really providing anything to like the casuals, or like providing new modes or new ways to create content really outside of that. And like, they did add the weapon level system and the progression system and but at the end of the day, you still got to shoot some for that, right? You still gotta play the game at the end of the day. But like, where's the
I have a question for you, Dre. What if you were to change something to create that content to make casual feel more welcome, what would be your thoughts?
I need something like Fortnite Creative 2.0, bro. I need like some type of like server browser, or like custom map, like almost like a Forge from Halo, like I need something like where we can build our own maps, or create our own type of like little scenarios that we can play with our friends, right? Because I know in R5 Reloaded, loaded. They have like parkour maps. You know, I did his Watson's Duck Hunt. They're building out like a Halo map kind of variant type of thing now as well. And so I would love to see something like that officially from Apex within the game. Some of my like fondest gaming memories growing up is I used to play like Infected in Halo, right? And I used to play, you know, Warthog races. I used to play like golf with the Warthogs and the tanks as well too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm trying to say.
I see your vision, and honestly, it gets me hyped thinking about stuff like that. Like you could have Apex movement courses, or everybody who spawns in just trying to do a 360 and crater each other just for fun and just joke.
Yeah, just like some random stuff. Like
Just-
even Overwatch has something like that. Exactly.
Where you put the game into the hands of the community as a whole, kind of like what they were trying to do with the clubs feature, right? But never really expanded from there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Here's a question, you know, where it comes from the competitive standpoint, do you feel like that impacts it anyway, negatively or positively, or do we really just need the casuals behind everything and behind this?
I think to be honest, it'll improve the game, right, in every way possible, because I think like 60% of the player base, or like 60 or 70% of the player base are like on console or like casual, you know, so like literally the majority of the player base doesn't care about like competitive like that. But I feel like changes or like the additions that they're doing to the game almost suit towards competitive, or like in terms of like actually trying to be the best, or like that type of like energy towards the game, you know, or towards the community. So I would love to see something a little bit more creative friendly, like giving the power to the players to do something creative, right? Like with their own community or with their own friends or with their own whatever they want to do, you know?
Guys, what do you guys think? Comment down below. This is huge because, you know, it almost stands beyond just creators. It could just be a group of friends just wanting to hang out and go do something and not have to sweat in skill-based matchmaking or skill-based matchmaking and mixtape or anything like that. Just reinforcing what you're saying. What would you say is probably the most successful casual game, and then what can Apex learn from that outside of Fortnite? Because you already said Fortnite.
I was just about to say, I was literally going to say Fortnite.
Because I know some people were like, well, I don't want to play Fortnite.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, coming from a creative aspect, definitely got to give it to Fortnite though, because they are just running it when it comes to that type of stuff.
Fair.
But the other game I thought of was probably COD. You know, I mean, like COD like is probably the most casual friendly shooter out there, you know, and like it's just I think what makes it so casual though is that there is no legends in play. You have like the gun system and stuff like that almost anybody could follow. But in terms of like actual creativeness and stuff like that, you have the voice comms, you have proximity chat, right? And you can create endless amounts of content with that. You can literally, the people that you meet and stuff like that, oh my god, it's hilarious, bro. And the stuff that you can do with that, great.
Let's talk about this next topic, because this is going to be probably one of the most frustrating parts for a casual, for a creator, for anybody. Outstanding bugs and frustrations with the game just not being updated. Because let's say they
servers.
Because because they release these features, but most of the time they're gonna release probably not well. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So sure. I want your thoughts on this, because I guarantee every casual right now is just sharing the same frustration as well, and I want your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, like every single time they release a new update, I feel like it's like one step forward, two steps back. You know, and so it can be frustrating at times, but I know they're also doing their best, but also two, recently it hasn't been bad, right? Like I remember back in the day, let's say from like season 8 to around like season 13, 14, it was so stale, it was so bad, it was cheeks, bro. But like nowadays it's not too bad, right? And I feel like for a lot of us who have been playing since day one or for a long time, we're kind of just used to the game at this point. But for someone who's new coming in, you know, they could enjoy it, they could find a lot of things to kind of love and enjoy within Apex, you know. But how do you balance that, right? How do you balance the new players from the OG players to the semi-new players to the casuals to the pros? You know, it's a hard conversation, it's a hard talk, but I know there's definitely things that we could implement in the game that'll help get us closer to that goal, you know, where we can kind of, I wouldn't say please everybody, but have more options for content creators, especially casual ones like myself, and who want to just have a good time. I
feel like I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, because I agree. I want all the bugs and everything fixed as well. I feel like every company, no matter, even let's just remove respawn out of this, will say, well, that's going to be very expensive, and will it actually make the player base happy? I'm gonna say on the side, I'm gonna be biased here, as I think it's gonna fix the problems like with frustration.
I think it would too, if I'm being completely honest, bro. I just think it's insane though how like we can have game-breaking bugs or just really detrimental bugs to the overall gameplay of Apex and have that going on for a month, right? Maybe 2, maybe weeks, you know what I'm saying? Without it actually being fixed. Like we usually just get it updated in the next like big patch or the next like mid-season update, you know? So sometimes having to wait that long can be so frustrating for a lot of players. I know, including myself, you know, where we have to wait a month, 2 months, you know, a couple weeks for something to actually get fixed.
I remember back in the day, whenever like Watson Gen just wasn't working, or fences would be a little wonky. It was like for weeks at a time. We're like, well, guess I can't play that legend for like a week or 2.
You literally can't even play certain legends because of like certain bugs like that. It's pretty tough.
Now, with all this stacked up, I always feel like the player base, especially for casuals, they get very frustrated. I mean, even streamers, everyone.
For sure.
So let's talk a little bit about the mental health of the player base in this game.
I think the majority of Apex players are probably depressed and just sad and just like overall just overwhelmed with life, especially because of Apex, to be honest. And being in the Apex community, right? Like, I feel like over the years, in the beginning, when it first started out, it was really positive. And I'm not saying it's not positive now, but in the beginning, it was really positive and a lot of people were enjoying it. But now I feel like the overall notion and energy of the Apex community is just like complaining, right? And like just complaining about like new shit or old shit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one really likes to give constructive criticism, and everyone just likes to talk shit about like the new stuff that gets added to the game because that's what everybody else does, and like that's what gets numbers on like Twitter, that's what get numbers on YouTube, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But no one ever really wants to like sit down and like, okay, can we actually like fix this? Like, is it going to be healthy? Is everybody going to like it? Like, you know, is this only for a certain group or a certain demographic of the actual game? You know, stuff like that. Everyone just kind of likes to complain. But I think the overall mental health of the community is that we're probably like 90% of us are depressed and sad and have anxiety and all this shit, you know?
So how would you fix that? Let's turn it into a positive.
Don't play the game, honestly. just take a break from the game, if I'm being real. Like, I think with a lot of people, especially in the Apex community, they don't go outside, right? I know for me, for a long time, I didn't go outside, you know, and actually experience life outside of like Apex and the community and stuff like that. A lot of people like to get like wrapped up in like their little internet bubble and like what they have going on with that. Like, let's say, for example, like I was saying, like Twitter or YouTube or Instagram or like, you know, anything. And they forget that there's a world outside of like Apex and little like gaming community that we have here. And there's tens of millions of people who don't give a fuck about any of it, you know, and they probably don't even know what the hell Apex is. And I think a lot of people forget about that. So if they just took some time to actually like go outside, be off social media, be off games and stuff like that, and simply just enjoy life, I think they would have a lot better mental. But I know a lot of gamers are kind of just scared to do that. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely hard. But if you like, you know, take the first steps to actually wanting to do something like that, oh my God, it'll help you so much. And when you come back to Apex, it'll actually be a more enjoyable experience because you got to actually take a break from the game, you know?
It's true. I mean, because then would you say Apex overall is a good game?
Overall, I mean, if we're being completely real, right? Reality, you know, not talking from someone who's played the game for 4 years. Is Apex a good game? Yes. Is it probably the best battle royale out right now? Yes. You know, compared to Fortnite, COD and stuff like that, you know, the Fortnite community, and I think the overall gameplay turns a lot of people off because it's mainly for younger kids and stuff like that. COD has its own issues and not everyone wants to work with COD. So Apex is the next best thing. And I feel like a lot of people who kind of want that happy medium between Fortnite and COD go to Apex, you know? And so overall, yes, it is a solid game. Yes, it is a great game. It's changed a lot of lives. It's changed my life, right? But there are, you know, no game is perfect and there are things that are wrong with it and that could definitely be fixed or at least, you know, fine-tuned or polished, you know?
Agreed. So then with that thought process and like, you know, the solutions going outside, is it why everyone keeps coming back because it is the only option? And then when they keep coming back, it's like coming back to, unfortunately, a not good relationship, right? You just keep coming back.
Like a toxic relationship.
Yeah, it's toxic. You keep coming back because there's nothing better, but you're like, you're the only one, baby, for me kind of mentality, right?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of us are honestly addicted to the game. And the thing is that Apex that does really well is that when you hit a clip or you get a squad wipe or you get like a beam, like a one clip or something like that, it is the most satisfying, the most fulfilling thing ever. Like when you do something cool in Apex, I don't think any other battle royale or shooter out right now can actually capture the essence of hitting a clip on Apex, because it is so like, it is like you feel congratulated, like you feel like a beast when you actually learn Apex and you start actually doing well, you know? And so it is toxic. It can be addicting, right? But is there anything else better out right now? I don't know. You know, so the addiction might be, you know, warranted.
And you know, that's the hard part, because this is going to segue us to our last topic. Because the biggest thing you mentioned is that the high of winning or doing well, and that all those words leads to competitive outside of like just doing fun stuff, right? So the direction of the game, we're past year 4. And like, what would you say would bring back casuals more to this game as it ages? And would you say the current direction is a good direction or bad direction? So that's two questions, 2 parts.
Yeah, for sure. So I think something that could actually bring the casuals back to the game is something like to grind for outside of ranked or like the weapon levels. You know what I'm saying? Like, give us like maybe like a cool skin to grind for that you don't have to pay $160 for when it releases, right? Like, give us like some different like melee heirlooms, you know, that you can also grind for too.
That'd be
you don't have
sick.
to pay money for. Like maybe make it so like you can actually change the color of your ult. Like imagine like a green Wraith portal or something, or like a red Horizon ult, or like something like that. Or like even with like the new Revenant, because like when you use your ult in like Revenant, I think you're like in a black like cloud or something around you. Maybe you can make it like red or like purple or something like that, you know, based on how many kills you have on that legend. Like that, you know, something just to kind of like ease you over and something to keep you playing outside of like monetary gain or like monetization, you know, and skins and stuff like that, you know? So I would love for something like that to bring the casuals back. I would love that.
More rewards, more systems,
Yeah.
incentive to keep playing, rewarding you for even if you were to win or lose, just something to kind of grind for, right?
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah,
say
exactly.
the current direction is achieving that or falling short?
I think currently it's falling short, but I do have hope, you know, because over the years, Apex has only improved, right? It hasn't gotten worse by, you know, a lot of people like to believe it's gotten worse, but if we're looking at it realistically, it hasn't gotten worse. It's actually, I think Apex is the only BR out, you know, in its time frame that's actually increased its overall player base and its overall like gameplay over the years rather than actually like losing it, you know? And so over the years, the game has only gotten better. So I have hope, you know, maybe in a year or two that we're going to see something, you know, more casual friendly, or possibly even like what I mentioned, you know, earlier with the Forge and actually being able to build your own maps and stuff like that. I think hopefully there's a big possibility that we'll see something like that in the future years to come for Apex.
You know, it's very interesting that you mentioned that, is that other games copy Apex Legends. Think of when it came out, the ping system and everything of what Apex does. Other games have copied, but I think you hit on a really strong point that it's time for Apex to take inspiration of what works for other titles. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Based on what I'm hearing you say?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. If they can take inspiration from other titles to improve the overall Apex scene and the Apex community and everything like that, oh yeah, I think it's time for sure.
I guess another thought I thought about, and it kind of goes to your thought, is where there's a lot of fun mechanics where, let's say like those self-revive or, you know, way things work in pubs, but probably shouldn't be in ranked, right? But bringing back all those fun things and letting them exist in pubs, because that's what pubs is. It's a funner experience. And then separate it out for what's ranked. Let's say, okay, those things don't exist, even though they're fun, but they, you know, we'll put them in casual play, right?
Yeah. That sounds nice. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, really
like,
separate it out.
I would love for them to have like, you know, they have mixtape, right? Which is like TDM, Control, and Gun Run. But like sometimes those could even get sweaty, right? Like it could be really intense. And it's not fun whatsoever, if I'm being real. So I would love for them to implement like some LTMs where like you can have a regular BR mode, right? Or even let's say like a 5v5, so 10 people, and all of them can pick the same legend on the same squad, right? So imagine like 3 Pathfinders on one team, or like 3 Gibbies, you know, going against like another 3 Gibbies or something like that, you know? Or like let's say even like an ARAM style, because we brought up League of Legends earlier. So let's say like maybe one condensed map, right, where there's only like one lane in one area to kind of go through, and everybody just has a random legend. So the second you actually get into the lobby, it picks your legend for you, you know? And so you're just a random complete legend, and you could actually reroll your legend or trade with your squad if you want to. You know, I would love to see some more creative stuff like that, where we can kind of dick around, right, and just have a fun time and get some laughs rather than actually feel like we're playing the game, if that makes sense, you know?
That does make sense. And we close out with his thoughts because we kind of got an overall direction and thoughts, and Apex being inspired by other, you know, games. But any remaining thoughts of how you feel about Apex Legends? I feel like this was a great moment for you to really talk about. I'm excited to hear what your community thinks when they watch this video, and like even just YouTube as a whole, hearing about like, hey, there's not just like the pros complaining, oh, the hurry, you know, Sear should do this, but actually hearing a broader conversation about the actual direction of this game.
Add a creator code, man, for the actual creators that help fund your game, right? And help pay for your game. You should give back to them and not just the competitive players. You know what I'm saying? Because there ain't no way for a content creator to make money on Apex outside of their own content, okay? Fortnite got one. Warzone's got one. When are we going to get one, Respawn? I know EA is probably the leading cause for us not getting a creator code, okay? So please have a conversation with them, man. We need to get a creator code. But overall, I don't think Apex is a bad game. I don't think it ever was. I don't think it ever will be. It can be frustrating at times. It can be stale. You know, any game can do that for you, right? If you play it long enough. If you are new, but if you are OG or you've been playing for a minute, then, you know, I think the things that I said today, a lot of people can kind of resonate with and also kind of, you know, strongly feel the same way about. So I don't think it's a bad game. If I had to give it a solid rating, probably a 9 out of 10. It's probably the only game, the FPS game that I've played in the past 5 years that I've played this long. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a bad game. Not a bad game whatsoever, but it definitely has issues and problems that can be fixed.
Apex Legends, is it bad for casuals? Take it away.
Yeah, is Apex Legends bad for casuals? Well, it depends on what you want. You know, if you want a more fulfilling experience in a shooter game, right, and you want to be tested, then it can be, right? But if you simply just want to kick back, if you want to chill and just have a good time with your friends, probably not. I would probably stick to Warzone. I would probably go to Fortnite, right? Apex is more of a game where you want to be tested. You want to really shoot your gun. You want to try out your movement. You want to go against another sweaty player, stuff like that, right? If you're into that, for sure, go ahead, have fun. If you're not into that, probably not. You know, it kind of depends on what kind of casual you are. You know, like if you're if you're a type of person, right, where you only have 1 to 2 hours to play a day, you know, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Because Apex is a very demanding game. But if you have, you know, if you have a weekend free or anything like that and you want to grind, go for it. If you're looking for a new FPS game to play and to kind of, you know, get your friends on and stuff like that, I would probably stick to Warzone. If I'm being real with you, I'll just stick to Warzone, bro. Yeah, well, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you guys go ahead and leave a like and comment, and also subscribe to Mr. Daz, and also sub to your boy, Mr. Nilla, Mr. Swords Ray. The links will be in the description. Also, leave a comment on what you thought about this video. And if you have anything that you would like to share, let us know, man. All right, we love y'all. Okay, and have a great rest of your day. Mwah, kisses, bye.